Your voice is responsible for 38% of your success when you sell something. Products, services, ideas, or simply when you want to persuade someone to do anything. If you want to increase sales in a one-to-one conversation or in a one-to-many speech or while using videos, the content I'm going to share in this clip is priceless. First of all, I want you to be aware of how to use the 4 expressive elements of your voice in order to speak confidently with anyone and on any occasion. Secondly, I have a straightforward and powerful exercise that I suggest you practice to level up the persuasiveness of your voice. My name is Max Cecco, and I teach aspiring entrepreneurs and professionals how to turn their knowledge and or someone else's expertise even into a 7-figure business. Let's start with the 4 expressive elements of your voice. Indeed, your voice it's like a musical instrument, and if you don't learn how to use it correctly, you will not be able to convey the right message with the proper intention. These are the 4 expressive elements you have to wear in your speech in order to have attractive and persuasive communication. Number 1, the timbre. Number 2, the volume. Number 3, tempo. Number 4, rhythm. Let me explain each of these 4 elements and how you can use them properly. Expressive element number 1, the timbre. The timbre represents the tone of your voice. It can be high, medium, low. Normally, you should use a low tone of your voice when you want to express authority. Let me give you an example by asking this simple question with different tonality. May I have a coffee, please? High tone. May I have a coffee, please? Obviously, I'm exaggerating a little for training purposes. You can probably feel how this question expressed with this high tonality is disgusting. Let's try with the medium tone. May I have a coffee, please? In this case, the message is less troublesome, but we can do it better by using a low tone. For instance, may I have a coffee, please? Okay, I don't have a very low tone. Indeed, I should work on it to lower it a bit. But you understood for sure the concept I want you to be aware of. Now that you are aware of this first expressive element, I suggest you change the tone of your voice based on the pictures, feelings, emotions and thoughts you want to convey to your audience. And once again, it all depends on the message you want to spread. In my personal opinion, in an ideal speech, you should vary the tone of your voice to create a dynamic speech. It is the same concept as playing a musical instrument. And I'm a drummer, and let me prove it. Honestly, I can't imagine myself playing drums with the same tone during the entire song. It's very dull. Now, let's switch to the second expressive element. Expressive element number 2. The volume. The volume of your voice represents the sound's intensity. You can change the volume of your voice by breathing with the diaphragm, not with the chest. Indeed, thanks to diaphragmatic breathing, you will be able to manage a significant amount of air. In other words, the more air goes out of your mouth, the more your voice volume increases. And this is why you need to understand how to use your breathing properly. Now, let's do an exercise together to train diaphragmatic breathing. Stand up and relax yourself. Assume a centered posture. Look in front of you, your chin must be parallel to the ground. Inhale with the nose and put your hand on your stomach to verify that it expands its dimensions when you inhale. On the flip side, when you exhale, your stomach has to re-enter to put out all the air you have inhaled. Put air outside from your mouth in a steady way, slowly without urgency. Now, let's do it. Once again, inhale, exhale. This exercise helps you manage the air properly. And once again, the tone of your voice doesn't depend on the amount of air that goes out of your mouth. Let me give you an example by reading this simple sentence with different volumes. May I have a coffee, please? Low volume. May I have a coffee, please? There is a little air that goes out of my mouth. Medium volume. May I have a coffee, please? High volume. May I have a coffee, please? In this case, I used an important amount of air. So, learning how to modulate your voice to spread a great message is amazing. Expressive element number 3. The tempo. The tempo represents the speed you use to pronounce the words. And it is very easy to understand. I can read this sentence very fast, or I can read this sentence in a normal way. Imagine having a conversation with someone by using the same tempo for the entire conversation. Honestly, it's very hard to imagine because it's unnatural. Expressive element number 4. The rhythm. The rhythm involves using the pauses correctly to highlight some parts of your speech based on the message you want to convey to your audience. Rhythm is fascinating and it is a pure expression of freedom. The trick to developing persuasive communication is to mix the expressive elements up. It takes practice, especially at the beginning, but it is worth it. Now that you have the knowledge, it's time to put into practice what I have just shared with you. I suggest practicing this voice skill by recording some videos in front of a camera. By doing so, you can mix these expressive elements together and check the final result. Obviously, you don't have to publish your videos, but watch your recording sessions for feedback purposes. This is a phenomenal exercise that costs nothing but lets you improve your speaking abilities. In addition, I suggest you practice the following exercise, especially before delivering a speech or recording a video in front of a camera. It lets you open your mouth to pronounce the words easily in order to be understood by your audience. Indeed, if you don't open your mouth enough, you can't speak clearly. Now, keep your teeth tight and then read something you want for a minute. The goal is simple. You have to make some effort to speak with your teeth tight. Then you will be able to communicate more clearly and efficiently. Let me read this sentence. Experts say that in a telephone conversation, 80% of your persuasiveness comes from your speaking voice and 20% from what you say. Most people don't realize that the sound of their voice is an important and determining factor as to whether someone buys. Now I'm going to read the same sentence without keeping my teeth tight. Experts say that in a telephone conversation, 80% of your persuasiveness comes from your speaking voice and 20% from what you say. Most people don't realize that the sound of their voice is an important and determining factor as to whether someone buys. Did you feel the difference? Practice makes you perfect. And with that being said, if you like persuasion topic or you want to learn how to increase sales, I highly recommend watching this video. 10 reasons why to persuade people to buy from you. You will discover the most powerful 10 triggers you can use in your communication to sell anything. Watch this video now.